Look, I think that there are a lot of people recognizing there was a panic, and the panic was frankly from out of China and whether they've passed us. It was very reminiscent to the Sputnik period in our country. Have the Russians passed us? And
you're talking about DeepSeek. Of
yes,
course, this is weeks ago at this point, but the reaction, particularly in Nvidia stock and in many of the power suppliers,
yes,
which I think continues to be a question. I would
say that a lot of people are saying, look, right now it's still good. A lot of people are saying, when I was with a lot of CEOs, look, if Meta, if Alphabet, if Amazon are still committed to Nvidia, then there was no surprise.
Right.
I believe that. I think that there are another wave of thought, which is actually good for Nvidia because it gets more people on board. Mm-hmm. Not sure if I agree with that, but it is a cheap way to get on board, and then you do need training, real training. I think the excitement part is video. Video means robotics. That's the next leg for
Nvidia. You
yes,
feel like that's the next leg.
Because over and over again, when you're even GTC last year, the big conference that Jensen runs, that was all about how Blackwell will help video, and video allows a robot to learn how to do things. Now, video, David, is when he keeps saying anything you can do, they can do better physically,
right? But
they need to see the videos. Now they can. And I think that that's a big step up, and it's not something that DeepSeek could possibly imitate. They're nowhere like that.
No, and as this year moves along, we're going to be monitoring so many different things when it comes to the developments in AI, particularly, as you say, sort of in robotics and what advances are being made there and what's going to happen.
But look, I'm trying to avoid the political.
Yeah. Well, there's so much going on.
But that's all.
And it's a lot to tackle for any management team.
Right.
Particularly if you're in the line of sight of things involving tariffs in some way or other.
Nvidia has clawed back with an impressive 22% surge in February. This remarkable rebound has not only surpassed crucial moving averages, but has propelled the tech juggernaut's shares to pre-plunge levels. As the anticipation builds around Nvidia's imminent earnings announcement, all eyes are on the details of the next-generation Blackwell GPU. With key figures at Nvidia readying for significant revelations, investors and tech enthusiasts alike brace for the stock to surge beyond expectations. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Christina Partsinevelos, Nvidia looks at all this and says, yeah, keep coming with your new models, because we need to just sell even more chips.
Exactly. If I'm going to thread a theme, you had Steve that say basically they all do the same thing. You had Kate mention commoditization, but the commonality between all of this is the foundation is Nvidia, and that means that Nvidia is going to continue to do well when it comes to demand. Well, we know from the Grok 3 that it was trained on 200,000 H100s. That's double the original 100,000 they talked about last year, which shows, hey, we need even more chips to compete at the top level, which would further drive CapEx for a lot of other companies. The second major point, too, is that all of Grok 3 was trained on Hopper chips, which is, I guess, the current iteration, the one that people could actually get their hands on. It's not trained on Blackwell, which could further drive upgrades in the near future. And we're going to hear about that next week with NVIDIA's earnings. And then the third point is just this was all built in 92 days, right? So Elon Musk said it was the largest liquid cooling cluster of GPUs out there. If they're able to do that, get their hands on all the chips in 92 days, that bodes well for Nvidia demand to remain consistent and not have these air pockets or moments of transition between quarters that some people are worried about.
Yeah, we'll see what they deliver. But a week from today, expectations, I guess, are going to be high again, right? Because the stock has been ramping into the print yet again.
Yeah, it's actually above, well, it was above that 140 level when you had DeepSeek, I'm calling it the freakout in January. But the major concern also for NVIDIA that we have to mention is these export controls, any incoming restrictions coming from the Trump administration, if there's any retaliation on China's side, that could impact NVIDIA. So that's an overhang. And then it's the supply issues that with Blackwell, there's so much demand, but there's still some issues. There have been rumors of issues of the advanced packaging that goes onto those chips, and so perhaps that's delayed the increase in revenues to the following quarter. But it's still, demand's still there. That theory, that thesis, that story for NVIDIA hasn't changed.
With February gifting a robust 22% surge upon Nvidia's shares, we witnessed a dramatic climb past both the 200-day and 50-day moving averages, achieving an intraday high of $143.44 only to settle slightly at $140.34, isn't just a comeback, it's a statement. Investors are not merely on the edge of their seats. They're practically glued to the screen in anticipation of Nvidia's forthcoming earnings report. The transition from the current Hopper GPUs to the highly anticipated Blackwell is something nobody can miss. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
So now to the AI market, which has been a big part of what's driven many of the mega caps, certainly Nvidia now. What do you think is holding that story up as we look ahead to Nvidia earnings next week? I mean, the mega caps have kind of been passing the baton between them, even though there's been some broadening. It's not like those big guys have given up the ghost.
Well, but again, the bigger picture is every single day there's a new headline with regard to a new AI startup. And in the final analysis is if you think about the internet revolution, two things went on. As it became clear that it became more important in terms of people's everyday lives, you had this sort of multiplier effect to the use of it, to the business applications. And we're in the stage now where corporate America knows that they have to engage in AI because it is part of people's everyday life. And the DeepSeek news tells you that the demand is going to rise and that things are going to happen at an all-in cheaper price. And that is very bullish for the future.
The excitement is palpable, particularly among technical analysts who spotlight the key support and resistance levels at $130 and $140. This technical landscape forms the battleground where market confidence is both tested and reinforced. Not to mention how the upcoming GTC conference in March, Nvidia plans to unveil its advancements in quantum technologies and robotics. This is where the tech giant not only intends to showcase innovations but also reinforce its leadership in the tech industry. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Very quickly, let me ask you about Nvidia. They're going to be reporting their earnings next month. They're obviously, or next week. They've obviously had so many questions about what's going on post DeepSeek, whether there's going to be demand for their chips. But we did hear from all of the big majors, whether that be Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, any of them, looking at spending even more next time around this year for CapEx. Does that? How do you feel about the shares, given the pullback that we've seen in Nvidia shares as a result?
Sure, absolutely. You know, when DeepSeek came out, somebody compared it to the Sputnik moment. I think it has been kind of a Sputnik moment because the U.S. spending on defense and aerospace went up, 10, 20-fold in the decade following that Sputnik moment. So, since DeepSeek news came out, we have seen, I think, Becky, to your point, the U.S. hyperscalers raised their capex. What was supposed to be a 20% growth year is now over a 30% growth year, over $360 billion. We have seen Stargate being announced with $500 billion of spending over multiple years. And then last week, what I think probably went unnoticed is the intention of European customers to spend. The European Commission announced a 200 billion euro program. France announced a 109 billion euro program, all for investing in AI. So we think this is a long-term theme. When it comes to NVIDIA's earnings specifically, they are going through a product transition. There are China kind of restriction headwinds. So it's possible that the quarter they guide, might be a tad squishy, but we look forward. The stock is trading at the lower end of its valuation range. I think it is absolutely a leader in being able to benefit from a lot of this spending. So we would be buyers of NVIDIA. It's our top pick. But as I mentioned, that earnings are always a volatile time frame. But right after earnings, we think NVIDIA's GPU technology conference will help to put the positive momentum back in the stock.
Navigating the highs and lows of recent months with remarkable fortitude, NVIDIA now stands in a strong position, having reestablished market confidence. The compelling forecasts predicting its growth are not mere conjecture. They are built upon the bedrock of a strategic vision and robust product advancements. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like Nvidia have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.